Okay, so just a reminder, we've been talking about dilations, which is basically just multiplying everything's side by some number to make it smaller or bigger proportionally, right? So when we had problems like this, for example, if we had a scale factor of 2, so this was 2 units long, so multiply that by 2 to get 4 units long for that one. Um, but now there's these type of examples. If you didn't work on the Delta Math assignment and you didn't run into these yet, this is what we're covering today. It's the same thing except we don't have a grid. So it says triangle KLM, which is going to be this triangle here, is similar. Remember I used that word to triangle NOP. And it goes in the same order, right? KLM, NOP. So you know which side is supposed to correspond with which. Luckily, they kind of orient it the same way, so it's not confusing. And it wants the measure of side PN. So it wants PN right here, this length. Figures are not drawn to scale, so don't try to measure them on the screen or anything. But um, all that's happened here is we've dilated or scaled this triangle up to this triangle, right? Remember I said dilations create similar figures, right? Here, dilations produce similar figures. And so here, what that means is that these sides are proportional, right? So what I've done, much like the other ones, is if this was dilated to be bigger, that means I took this 6 and I multiplied it by something to get 31.8. And that's our scale factor, right? What we multiplied by was called our scale factor. And now to figure out what that scale factor is, we have to figure out what multiplies by 6 to get 31.8. And to find that out, you simply divide the numbers, right? So 31.8 divided by 6, I will go to my calculator and do 31.8 divided by 6 and get 5.3. So that means that's our scale factor. And that makes sense that our scale factor is above 1, right? Because if we're going from 6 to 31.8, our scale factor should be bigger than 1 to make the figure bigger. Another way to think about it is if you forget which one to divide by the other, right? You're saying 6 times, this is how I might want to do it, 6 times some scale factor, maybe call it k, some variable, right? 6 times some scale factor equals that other side, right? And then how do you solve for k? You divide both sides by 6, right? And then you get the same thing, right? 31.8 divided by 6, which is 5.3. So either way, you found your scale factor. So what you do when you find your scale factor is now it wants Pn, and it should be proportional, right? Um, so this side should also be scaled, just like this side was. So I need to do 9 times 5.3. And what that will get me, go to my calculator, and I'll do 9 times 5.3, and that'll give me 47.7. And so that's this side length is 47.7. And again, that makes sense, right? Because they should be proportional. 6, 31.8, right? 6 is smaller than 9, 31.8 is smaller than 47.7. A good sign we did it right. Um, and on top of that, if we go here, and I do that, and I do 31.8 divided by 47.7, right? I did that, this number divided by this number. If I do 6 divided by 9, I'll get the same number. And that's showing that the proportions are the same, right? So that's just like a quick check to make sure you did it right. if the proportions are the same, right? If 6 divided by 9 is 31.8 divided by what we got, right? This side is to this side as this side is to this side. And so that's kind of a bunch of different tricks to do it. This one, I don't want anyone getting confused and just always dividing the smaller number. So we're going from this figure to the other figure, right? We're going from here to here. And the answer is 46 times what gets us 21.4? 46 times some number, maybe k, right, equals 21.4. To find k, our scale factor, I'm going to divide by 46. Again, if you're okay with hopping straight to, you do 21.4 divided by 46, that's fine. To get k alone. And then in my calculator, I'm just going to do 21.4 divided by 46. 21.4 divided by 46. And we get 0.465 is where I'll round it. 0.465. Right? And that makes sense that it's less than 1, right? Because if I'm going from 46 to 21.4, I should get a smaller number, so I want to multiply by a number less than 1. So, okay, now that we have our scale factor, right, and we want NO, we want this side right here, and that correlates to this side here. Again, it's proportional, so if I multiplied 46 by 0.465 to get 21.4, then I should also multiply 23 by 0.465 to get that side. So on a calculator, I'm just going to do times 23, and we get 10.7. And a trick on the calculator here, I rounded here, but that wouldn't give me the nice answer here. On my calculator, I just used this whole thing, this whole answer, to get 10.7 back. And again, now that's our answer. Our answer is 10.7. We found the side length we want to find. If you want to do a check to make sure it's right, we can see if the proportions are the same. So if we want to do a check to see if that's correct, if we do 23 divided by 46, we're asking, does that equal 10.7 divided by 21.4? Or are they proportional? Well, let's do that. So 23 divided by 46 is 0.5. And if we go here, 10.7 and 21.4, that looks pretty good. I have a good feeling about that. 10.7 divided by 21.4, and that is also 0.5. That's not the scale factor, that's just checking to see if they're proportional, right? This side length is to this side length as this side length is to this side length, right? And so that checks out that those are indeed equal, so we know that 10.7 is our correct answer.